Hi everyone, the title of my paper was A Representation of Latino Immigrants and Their Cultural Displacement as Seen in the Art World, and it falls under the theme of cultural identity. The three pieces I have selected to present today are, at the top of the screen, Pedacito de Sol, Vero y Marisa by Eliza Neisenbaum, completed in 2022. The material and medium used are oil on canvas. At the bottom of the screen, the second piece, The Death of Ruben Salazar by Frank Romero, was completed in 1986. Materials and medium are also oil on canvas. And lastly, to the right, a black and white photograph titled Todos los Santos, Volcán de Salco, Amén by Muriel Hasbun. The materials and medium are photography on gelatin silver print. All three pieces tell different stories of the Latino experience and give a voice to an often ignored but vital group of people in any community, the immigrant. The first painting is Pedacito de Sol, Vero y Marisa by Mexican artist Eliza Neisenbaum, and it's part of a larger series of portraits titled Queens, Lindo y Querido, which featured undocumented immigrant residents of Queens, New York. This painting featured Veronica, who immigrated with her husband from Mexico in the 1990s, and also her daughter Marisa, who was born in New York. The first element of this painting that captured my attention is, of course, the artist's use of bright, vivid colors, which has now become her signature style. And colors can be seen in every section of the painting, from the traditional papel picado strung from the ceiling, to the blankets and pillows on the couch, to their clothing, their boots, even the notebooks in the corner. But the most original use of color is the way the artist creates contrast and shadow in an original way. This is most obvious on the skin of the women, where one can clearly see the shadows created on their faces and arms by the light coming through the window. The artist did this by using unusual colors that one doesn't usually see on a face, like pinks, greens, oranges, and yellows. And though the bright color is associated with a sense of movement or even unrest, I think this piece transmits the opposite. There's a sense of calm in the painting, which you can see by the way the women are relaxed in each other's arms. You can see it in Marisa's half-closed eyes as she seems to be falling asleep. And you can also see it in Veronica's gaze, which, though she's looking directly at the viewer, does not seem threatening. It's the opposite. She seems to tell us, this is my happiness, and there is nowhere else I'd rather be. Pattern and texture are also very prominent throughout this piece. You can see it everywhere from the papel picado, where you can see the intricate cutting in each colorful square, creating a sense of rhythm by repeating itself from square to square. There's also a sense of texture to each panel, in the wrinkles of the paper and in the way the light hits them, making us see each crease and crinkle. Pattern and texture are also seen in the throw pillows on the couch, in the blanket, and even on the women's clothing, making us almost feel what the cloth feels like. The artist personalizes the portrait by adding touches that tell us the kind of woman Veronica is. For example, the boombox, which Veronica's daughter says she always has playing, especially when she's teaching Zumba class to local residents. The bicycle by the window is also seen as a symbol of freedom and defiance by Veronica herself. She says she can hop on it and explore the city at any time she wants without anyone stopping her. Pedacito de Sol, Vero y Marisa was painted 10 years after Neisenbaum first painted Veronica and her family. To Neisenbaum, Veronica has become not only a subject and symbol, but also a friend. The artist is not only a one-time observer as many painters are, she has now a relationship with her subjects, which in my opinion enriches her art, giving it a personal touch. She has also given paintings to all her subjects so they could sell and keep the profits to themselves. In the second piece, titled The Death of Ruben Salazar, Los Angeles-born and raised contemporary artist Frank Romero depicts the death and legacy of Ruben Salazar, a civil rights activist and journalist from the 1960s. During the Vietnam War, many people were protesting the war around the country. And in 1970, thousands of people gathered in East LA to protest the disproportionate amount of Mexican American soldiers that were being killed in the war. Unfortunately, the peaceful protests turned violent when the sheriff arrived, and Salazar, who was there reporting the protest, was killed instantly when a tear gas projectile was shot into the cafe where he was. 16 years later, Romero created this painting depicting the horrible incident. As with the last artist's painting, the element that is the most striking in this work is Romero's use of bright colors. To him, these bright colors represented the colors of Mexico and the LA Mexican American community. Romero says he doesn't follow any standard rules, such as using complementary colors in his process when he works. He goes by instinct and by what he feels when he begins to paint. Now, looking at the painting, the focal point is the explosion at the top center, which communicates the death of Salazar. The chaotic and marked brushstrokes throughout the painting mirror the lines that delineate the explosion, giving the entire painting a sense of turmoil. The sheriff's deputies themselves look like soldiers representing those who were fighting and dying in the Vietnam War. And the classic cars lined up along the street are a tribute to the low-rider Chicano community, which is unique to East LA. On either side of the cafe, we see the legacy that Salazar left behind. On the left side of the painting, we see a Casa de Cambio or money exchange office, representing the connection to Mexico, since not only is this where people exchange pesos to dollars and cash their checks, but where families wired money to their loved ones back home. The word cambio also literally means change, which was what Salazar was fighting for in his community. On the right side of the painting, one can see the marquee of a local movie theater where Romero has written La muerte de Rubén Salazar, as if a movie about his life was already being played. Ultimately, this bold and unique piece is a perfect example of the intersection of the beauty of art and the recording of a piece of modern American history. In the next work, El Salvadorian artist and photographer Muriel Hasbun tells a story of the difficulties and prejudices both her maternal and paternal relatives encountered when immigrating to El Salvador. Her great-grandfather fled Bethlehem in order to avoid serving in the Ottoman army, and on her mother's side, her mother and grandparents fled Poland to France to avoid the persecution of the Jewish people during the Holocaust. In this photograph titled Todos los Santos, Volcán de Izalco, Amén, we see past a canopy of trees to the photo's focal point, which is the Izalco volcano, a landmark of El Salvador. The clouds seem to blend in with the smoke coming out of the volcano. This, along with the stark black and white contrast within the treetops, give the painting an eerie, almost spooky quality. Our eyes are also immediately drawn upward to the text in Arabic calligraphy, written in a funnel shape which mirrors the triangle shape of the volcano. This prayer written in Hasbun's great-grandfather's handwriting translates to this: in the blissful and eternal happiness of heaven, and in the name of the pure and immaculate Mother of true light, and all the martyrs and saints, Amen. Hasbun says that her great-grandfather had this prayer on his home altar where he would pray every day, since El Salvador had no Greek Orthodox churches when he immigrated. The artist perhaps also wanted to pay tribute to the Arab world, where calligraphy takes precedence over images. As for the photographic process, the artist created a gelatin silver print by laying the negatives of family photographs and documents she had collected over the years. She layered them over each other to combine the final image. And one can see some stark white areas such as the contrast in the trees and a thin line of lava flowing down the center of the volcano. Hasbun achieved this effect by using a process called solarization, which involves re-exposing the paper to light in your darkroom halfway through the development process. This allowed her to adjust the lightness and darkness of the image and to see all the layers representing her family's many, many experiences. So, though the three artists have very different backgrounds, they have all shown a spotlight on the struggles, injustices, courage, and spirit of the immigrant. And no matter what our cultural background is, I think these pieces of art will hopefully inspire a conversation about our sense of identity, both individually, in our community, and around the world. Thank you.